Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Testing 1 2 3. 1 2
God,
3.
I already have 10 minutes worth of goddamn recording.
Why are you recording so early?
Because it was funny watching Omid set up and watching you set up, but you guys weren't recording, so.
See, you're not funny, Vlad. Don't.
Okay. Yeah, I won't lie to you. You guys both sitting in front of blinds is not helping this production at all, but Omid's fine. Vlad, I liked what you had the last week. I don't know. Something happened to you in between last week and today.
I mean, I can shift it again if you want me to. If you give me.
I don't want you to do anything else. I watch. Wait, it's almost 4. We said we start at 3.
I mean, shit happens. So, if you want, I guess, give me 2 more minutes. I can set up a different place that'll be away from light entirely.
No, it's okay. We're already here, right?
Yeah.
All right, so I guess we can just get into it, right?
Yeah.
You guys
Do you want
ready?
to run the intro? How do you want to do this?
Yeah, I'm gonna run the intro, and then of course I'll do it post production. Get some water in now. If I hear any fucking water bottles or any clicking during this episode, so before we get this started, remember everything you have right now is gonna be exactly the way it's set up. Do not touch your mic. Do not move it. Do not move your cameras or anything. Just let it sit down, relax, and we'll talk to each other.
Why can't I sip water during the filming?
Because it creates that noise. Do you hear that?
No.
No.
Okay, turn your head away from the mic if you drink water. How about that?
What, I like turning to my right when I drink specifically.
Yeah. Seriously, God, don't tell me to live this life.
Why is that? Is that the direction of the ocean you grew up next to?
I'm actually gonna grab a bottle of water. Screw you guys.
Oh my god! Oh my god! We're never gonna start. Okay, now are we ready?
I believe so.
I think so.
Damn it. Okay, cool. So, I'm sitting down. It's very nice. You guys hear me okay? Am I nice and loud? Annoying, even?
Obnoxiously loud.
Obnoxious? Cool. That's exactly what I'm here for.
Before we start, are you okay with me using the light that you bought me, or I bought myself, as a chip clip? Because right now my chips are now open and it's very uncomfortable for me to look at.
I don't care. If you do it now, I will kill you. If the episode is done recording, you can take it off and you can clip it wherever you want.
Okay, cool.
But are we ready to go?
Yeah. I just don't want my chips
I mean,
to get
I think so.
soggy.
I've been sitting here for a freaking half an hour now waiting for you guys to finish.
Oh, bullshit. You're complaining since last Friday. Last Friday, we need to get this done right away. Why aren't you guys wait for the time? Why
I'm
don't
waiting
we do
for
it?
you.
And Omid have been here for half an hour waiting for you.
Waiting for
I want
me.
everyone to know this at home. Vlad
Waiting
was
for
trying
me.
he was pestering us to try to get an episode done.
Waiting for me.
And it took him half an hour to log on today to get
Wait,
here. We've
wait.
been
Waiting
sitting
for
here.
me.
Yes, for
I'm
you.
sitting here done waiting for you guys.
No, fuck you. No, now they have to hear about it. Vlad took a half an hour
This
to get
sounds
into
like
this, into this
conspiracy
meeting.
theories coming out of your mouth at the moment.
Bullshit.
Okay,
Calm down. That's why I started recording 15
whatever
minutes
you
ago.
say. Whatever
Because
you say.
Vlad's bullshit and I have the evidence. Okay.
Whatever you say.
Fuck it. Let's just get it rolling then. Fuck it. Let's get out of the way. Okay. Hi everybody. Welcome to the inaugural, the historic, the very first episode of Does This Offend You? We're very excited to be here. I hope you are too. You don't know that yet because you haven't seen a single thing. Today we're talking about podcasts. We're going to break the meta. Why are they around? Are they relevant? Are they bullshit? And why you should listen to ours. Thank you very much. Stick around. Thanks for watching. How was that?
What do I have to say to make some money? What do I have to say to make some money? No offense, does this offend you?
Hi everybody, welcome in. This is Does This Offend You? My name is Danny. That is Vlad. Say hi, Vlad.
Hi.
That is Omid. Say hi, Omid. And as you can tell, we're a great big bunch of enthusiastic people. So, today we are talking about podcasts. What about podcasts? I don't know.
Well, the original idea is should we be doing one in the first place?
Yeah. So, we wanted to do a podcast for a while now. I'm pretty sure everybody, to open this up, I think everybody at one point in their lives has thought to themselves, maybe I should start a podcast. Maybe I'm interesting. Maybe people will like what I have to say. So
Maybe people
given
will like me in general.
Yeah, well, people like me. I have no idea. Given that thought process, should we be doing this? We ask ourselves that, and I mean, we're not going to stop after this, just to be perfectly clear. But the real question is, why podcasts? Why are they a thing? Why are we here? And does everybody really deserve a voice? Is it too saturated, or I mean, are the means too easily accessible? I have no idea.
Well, we live in the U.S. of fucking A, okay? So we got the First Amendment, which means we can say whatever the hell we want.
Weren't
within
you
reason.
the one that said don't swear?
Thank you, dude. I was just about Omid beat me
Listen,
to
I'm just saying something about America, okay? Let's accept what we can say.
it.
Yeah,
Vlad is-
YouTube demonetizes you for saying anything nice about America and cussing, apparently.
Really?
I don't know.
Oh, well.
You're the one who said they
I'm more
do.
worried about Twitch. I'm just saying that
Alright.
because from what I'm seeing, Twitch seems to have a lot more strict rules. But
Yeah, but
whatever.
Twitch also has a lot more 5-year-olds.
Well, I'm very glad that Vlad got called out early because we're gonna get to that later. By the way, he's not the only asshole here. All three of us, by the way. So let's just get right into it. Are podcasts saturated? Are there too many podcasts?
Well, yeah, I feel like there's literally a podcast everywhere. So, I mean, it just depends on the genre that you're looking at, and yeah, everybody just seems to think that they deserve to be heard, whether it's ranting over like social media or recording themselves on video and putting it online for people to hear. It's definitely saturated. But I mean, I don't really care about that if it's saturated or not. I more or less care about the quality behind it. Like, me personally, I don't know about you guys, but there's a few podcasts that I do listen to. Mainly, I like to listen to funny ones because the ones that make me laugh are more or less enjoyable, especially during the time that I'm driving the car. I don't know about you guys, but yeah.
100%.
Yeah,
Or-
what's his name? Joe Santagato, whatever his name is. I think he has that Basement Yard podcast. It's pretty funny, or at least it used to be more funny back in the day when he was first starting out. But he switched over different people as like his co-stars quite
I don't know.
frequently.
I've never seen them, but I know who you're talking about. Something Santino.
I think it's Santagato.
Okay, no, then I haven't seen it, but I agree with you. I just like listening to comedies in general because funny people have more funny stuff to say. It's more entertaining, so that's the stuff that I gravitate towards too.
He used to have that YouTube channel like stupid things people do on the internet.
No. I didn't
No?
start. I still barely even listen to podcasts. Just to throw that out there. Every podcast I listen to, it probably has a video recording on YouTube, and that's how I've accessed mine.
Mm.
Omid, do me a favor, bud. Look into the camera when you're talking.
Sorry.
As you can
Yeah.
tell, we're super good at this. We've been doing this a long time. On that note, so you guys listen to podcasts. I actually really don't. I'll be honest. I listen to maybe one podcast, and then that's seasonal too.
Which
I only listen to it
podcast?
3 out of the 4 months. It's a fantasy football podcast.
Oh my.
So that's how he loses.
That's how I lose. That's my secret. I pay attention way too much. But I get it. If there's a point of interest, why not listen to people talk about it? But even given those circumstances, I mean, why are you here? Why are we here? Why do we think that we deserve a shot at this is the question. Does everybody
feel like-
everybody thinks in their own mind, in their own right, that they can, I mean, they deserve to be heard. So is there a danger in that? Does everybody really need to be heard all through a podcast?
Well, Hitler needed to be heard. Look how
Yeah,
successful he was.
Yeah.
He wrote
I'm
a
really glad
book,
you bring that
though.
up. Yeah, if you put somebody like that in front of a forum, we dealt with that in America not too long ago. If you put with somebody like that and you give them a position of power where they can be heard by the masses, yeah, I feel it lends to something incredibly dangerous. But let's not get too far from the point. Yeah, does everybody deserve a podcast? I say no.
Well,
Absolutely not.
Tying back to the point that you brought in with the whole entire Trumpazoid and, like, for instance, the January 6th protest or insurrection, whatever you want to call it.
Sure.
I mean, it's more or less of a moral standpoint. See, the problem is, like, with me, what I have an issue with like, First Amendment speech and all that sort of thing is that people say, like, we need to be able to speak freely, like, we're in America, we're the greatest country because we can say what we want within reason. Obviously, you can't threaten the president because then you go to jail. But aside from that, we are very prideful of the fact that we can criticize our government. We can criticize certain laws, functions, whatever. And that's cool, but then people are like, but not all criticism is good. Not every voice should be heard, which creates that kind of vacuum where, like, for instance, with Trumpazoid and his followers, he had the, um, I guess if you want to call them the secluded white group of Midwesterners who have been living in pretty shitty circumstances and don't really, connect with technology as well as everybody else does to really like voice themselves and find a community to speak online. They begin to find these like forums where it gets dangerous and they formulate, and you do get extremists that way, and extremists can be argued on any side of the aisle, whether you're liberal, whether you're conservative, whether you're whatever. You can have crazy people on every side. The question here is, why do you have these crazy people, and why do they feel they need to have to act out? Is it because we're not listening to them? Is it because they're not being heard? Do they feel like their voices are not mattering quite as much as everybody else's? So, that also will tie into the whole entire podcast aspect. Me personally, like, I don't care if you have a podcast, go for it. Like, I say, do your thing, yell whatever you want. I'm probably going to listen to you. That's just me. I'm not forcing anybody else to listen to you. If somebody chooses to listen to you and they're that dumb, that's on them. But, there's no gun to your head telling you that you have to do this, otherwise you're a bad person. Like, I can choose what I want.
It's fair. Freedom of choice, I guess that's something we have here. And freedom of speech, more importantly. But, again, yeah, Vlad said it. I mean, you can do what you want, but does it mean you have to do it? Should it be done? And to me, the answer is no, dude. I don't think everyone deserves it. There are a lot of, hence the title of the show. I'll just get right to the point. There are a lot of stupid people out there, and that could be you watching. Like, I don't care. No, the distinguishing factor is you can, the criteria is limitless for, that means a whole other argument. Are you stupid or not? Do you deserve a podcast or not based on that criteria? I'm not going to get into that much, but no, the short answer is no, not everybody deserves a podcast. Not a lot of people should have the means to have their voices heard, because a lot of them don't really have anything to offer. If at all, if they do have something to offer, maybe it's just detrimental and it doesn't really lend to any argument, or all it does, some people, all they do is create podcasts to serve listeners that already agree with them and don't really do much of anything else but just create a little cycle, and it just keeps going, and you're just this little medium we have. There's a microphone and a camera, and also these things, by the way, you don't even need a setup like we have. You can just do it with anything these days. When you put that power into someone's hands and they don't know what to do with it, just things can go off the rails real quickly. And no, I don't think everyone really deserves it. The fact of the matter is, everyone does have the means to do it. They really shouldn't.
I mean, you have to ask yourself this: who are they addressing when they do these podcasts? They're usually addressing their own communal circles.
Very true.
It's just the thing is, for us, with like our mentalities, we're living in the Bay Area, and we have a very tight knit community here of all sorts of backgrounds, and anything that happens here spreads like wildfire. Versus over like in the Midwest area specifically, something happens, it's usually just like it's like a rock droplet in the freaking lake. It doesn't really do anything. They might have like their small town circle of people that might listen to them, but that's about it. It's not going to be anything major. It's a different story when you have a president who runs, a national position, and that's going to be like, okay, it's a different ball game. That's when everybody starts to hear, and that's where you're kind of like, how should one behave as the president? See, I'm very against the whole entire political correctness. I'm also not in favor of how Trump behaved himself, because I think Trump was, well, he was too volatile. He was jumping around, just acting a fool, honestly, and it was funny. He had his moments where he made me chuckle, but at the same time, that's not presidential, and it's wrong. And I do think that it was a nice change that he made people's heads turn a bit in his time in office. But would I say that should be a standard for presidency? Hell no. But I also say that we shouldn't have people like every single president or vice president that we've had before Trump and after, who've been pretty muchly trying to create this whole entire illusion of political correctness. It's not right. You're full of crap. You're lying through your teeth. A lot of people eat it up for some reason. I don't know why, but it is what it is.
Don't you think people yearn for authenticity though? And I think that's what Trump's main appeal
It's
was that
it's
he felt
refreshing.
authentic. Yeah, everybody else, like we all know politicians are politicians. Nobody believes anything they say unless they're saying the things that you believe in. Then you're just kind of stuck in your own echo chamber. But beyond that, I think people appreciated that, if, for example, President Trump didn't like anybody, he'll just tell them to their face and give them a nickname, you know? And I
Yeah.
think people enjoyed that part of it, and I think that's what people gravitate towards. It's either your own echo chamber or, oh wow, this person is saying something real. Let's go see what's going on there.
Um, I really like the discourse, guys, but this has nothing to do with podcast.
No,
Well,
I mean
I was
it's
I
just
was
it's
trying to tie
tying
it
into
back.
It's
All
tying
right.
into it.
Yeah,
I'm
okay.
tying into authenticity, and I think that's what
I-
people are looking for in anything that they listen to.
Because once we get out of
True.
politics, we're gonna tie back into, like, for instance, an example, Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan's one of those very strange creatures in the sense that he tries to use common sense, common knowledge, reality-based standpoints in his podcasts, and a lot of people don't like him for it. He also is one of those people who likes to bring on individuals of all sorts of walks of life, whether it's in politics, whether it's in science, whether it's in, psychology, math. This guy brings
MMA.
everybody. And he brings on people that, most people would be like, why would you bring him on? He completely, like, he completely counters your logic. Like, you're trying to be so, like, centered and, realistic on the matter, but you're bringing on people who are like Alex Jones, completely crazy. Yeah, he might have his points from time to time, but he's still overall completely crazy. Or you can have somebody like, what's his name? Who's that? Oh my god. That one scientist that everybody always, Tyson or whatever his name is? You know
Mike
what I'm talking
Tyson.
about? No, not Mike Tyson.
Not Mike Tyson.
The
I know what you're
scientist.
talking
He's a
about.
scientist with his fists.
The astronomer,
but-
right?
The astronomer, yeah, I forgot his
Okay.
name.
Okay. Whoever's, I get it. So on a grand scale, I understand how podcasts can be influential, and I can understand how they can be destructive. But I mean, even just to bring it down just a little bit more, not super, meta, like over, about around the world kind of problems or issues. It's, podcasts can be about anything these days, right? Anybody can open up, talk about whatever they want. Like I said, I listen to a football podcast or fantasy football podcast now, and then there are podcasts about football. There can be podcasts about anything you want. It doesn't have to be this grand instrument for influencing people or, backing
No.
up your own beliefs.
It kind of is.
A fantasy
Kind of
football podcast does that to people.
Well, fantasy football tries to influence people's taste or views on the sport.
No.
No, you
No.
don't think so?
Fantasy
Um,
football podcasts just tell you, I think this player is going to have a great day. Well, why do you think that, Jim? Well, because this is the weather and because I'm paid to have original ideas and this is the most original thing I can think of this week. But it constantly changes. It's literally just a podcast about speculation. But I
mean-
think it's
True.
educated guesses.
I guess.
Yeah, but there could be podcasts about anything.
Yeah.
A world outside of my own about makeup. I don't know. I know nothing about makeup, but there's probably a podcast about like the new line of Sephora or something. By the way, it's not an endorsement for Sephora, but if you want to pay us money, we'll take it, Sephora. At the end of the day, the podcast doesn't have to be like so grand. It could be about wherever you want. But I still hold true to my original statement, which is like not everyone really deserves to talk about it. Even things that are just interesting to a minority group of people, whatever. Like not everybody wears makeup. Not everybody watches fantasy football.
Well, what do you
And
mean by deserves? What does that mean?
that means nobody deserves the stage. I mean, not everybody deserves the stage on.
Why not?
What do you mean by deserves though? I want to know, like, what do you mean by do people deserve to
How do you
have a
earn? How do you
podcast?
earn something like that?
Yeah.
It's not so much. Well, you don't earn it. Like I said, the power is already in your hands. You do whatever you want. But to actually, if you're, let me put it this way: deserve. I use the word deserve in the context of if someone opens up a camera and they start talking to me about something that they find interesting, and then a lot of people flock to that and they find it interesting too, or whatever. It doesn't make what they're doing like good. I don't know. Like Joe Rogan,
Okay.
we find Joe Rogan interesting, sure, because I actually like what he does. I think he opens up a dialogue with people that, on the opposite sides of his points of view, which is great for everything. I mean, but there could be people like imagine the first 20 minutes of this podcast, how we were struggling to get off the ground, and that's what people were watching. And when we're like, could you absolutely agree that would be an awesome product to put out to people for them to listen to and then share with their friends and then talk amongst each other based on I mean, some people that's all there is in their head. It's just a bunch of freaking bloopers vomiting out of their mouth on a day-to-day basis, and they think it's all right to just kind of speak out loud to a bunch of people, thinking their views are okay, which is kind of like a problem.
For some people,
Yeah.
that might be funny. It's comedy for some.
If you get an
Yeah.
audience, by all means, do it. I just don't think it's a matter of deserving. It's more of a matter of should you do it, if anything. Because deserving makes it sound like you have to earn your right to be heard, but I don't
That's
think.
not very American.
Yeah, if anything, it's should you do it? And that's more of a what are you doing in your life that you have the time to do this? And do you have the audience to do it? Or are you just wasting your time? Or are you actually reaching out and actually connecting with people? Because I think
I'm-
that's what's important.
I'm more concerned with, are your words going to cause actions that will physically harm yourself or somebody else?
Well,
That's
do
where
those
I'm more
people
concerned.
deserve the physical harm? I don't know. Let's hear this guy out.
So you think responsibility is directly incorporated with having a podcast?
As
Is
much
what-
as having a Twitter.
Yeah. Okay. There
Or
you go. I mean,
Facebook or an
yeah,
Instagram.
that can
I think
go.
no matter what, like I can just literally stand on a soapbox and start screaming on the street. Hopefully someone passes by and hears me, but instead I'm talking into a camera and putting it on the internet.
Like,
know,
people have to remember one thing. Media has this is a form of media. People have to remember that media has a very big influence on you. Let's be honest, women go out there and buy freaking books like 50 Shades of Grey just to sit there and flick the bean afterwards. They like that kind of thing. It's a form of media for them that they enjoy, and it gives them, it creates a pleasure for them. I
But
mean,
doesn't it also create validation, which I think is what
I
most
don't know
people are
about
looking
validation,
for?
but I
But-
feel like it's more of a sensation. The same thing for like guys with like Pornhub. We like to use that to, exert our frustrations in a sense. Another form of media. Media is a very powerful thing, and people use it in different ways.
Yeah, but books and Pornhub. Well, let me start with books.
Playboy.
Books don't create a forum for people. That's all I'm saying. And I mean,
They can
Pornhub.
create a sex cult.
Pornhub has a comment section, I guess. People can
You can
get
make a
together
sex
and
cult.
talk about. You can make a sex cult, sure, but it's
Book
a lot.
club.
It's a lot more difficult to create a sex cult / book club than it is to just open up the YouTubes and watch garbage like this, for instance. Which is this is my point exactly. No, should you be making a podcast? Not everyone should be making a podcast. Deserves, fine. Maybe I'll throw the word out the window for now because I haven't come up with a decent argument, to be honest, for that one. But should everyone be doing this? Absolutely not. No. But the arrogance that we display in saying that should tell you about what we're about, which brings me to my next point. What makes this podcast so special? And I'll go ahead and say it. I mean, it's these three guys here. It's me, it's Vlad, it's Omid, and we'll actually have people on here from time to time as well, discussing different ideas and whatever. I mean, we like to talk about the big picture here at Does This Offend You? It's has really nothing to do with anything specific. Like today it's just about podcasts. Tomorrow it could be about whatever else frustrates us or amuses us. It doesn't really matter. Before I get into that more, like I want you to understand where we come from. So if that's okay with you guys, and if that's okay with the audience who have no say in what's about to happen, can we all introduce each other and talk about ourselves for just a little bit, and we'll get into the grit, like what the show's about. Great, awesome, love it.
Enthusiasm.
Awesome, that's fantastic. Fine. Let me
Plead
get
the
it started.
fifth.
No.
Before we get into I will
Mm.
say the reason why I think that the reason why I even brought up the idea of having a podcast in the first place was because I feel like we're the kind of people who are pretty well balanced, and that's what kind of set me up for the aspect of I don't want like every single podcast almost in regards to anything serious today tends to be like you're either pretty far on one side of the spectrum. There's not really much of a centralized stance. And that's where, like, for me at least, I don't know about you guys, but the centralized stance for me is more or less reality. You're a realist at that point. You kind of see things how they are. You can kind of you make past judgment on most things that
Uh,
are happening.
I mean, I'm gonna push back a little bit. I don't think as centrists, if anything, we see them everything as the way they are. I just think we acknowledge that both sides have a legs to stand on. Like we
Or
don't follow either extreme, but we can acknowledge that both sides have their viewpoints and their arguments, and nobody that's a centrist or a moderate or anybody that's apolitical actually agrees on anything. It's mostly just that we can actually have these conversations because are better at finding middle grounds.
Yeah.
well, let me intersect on your intersection of Vlad. We like to discuss things in a matter where there isn't something so cut and dry as side and side, either or. There's a bunch of in between. Sometimes there's nothing. Like, it's not about either side. There are no sides. It's just about discussion and discourse and about the reality of any situation, any given circumstance in life. We
Realism.
just that's I mean, yeah, sure, it's realism. Whatever is real. Like, we cut through the bullshit. We're not a media corporation. We're not gonna feed
Yet.
anything to you yet. That is
Yet.
the next step in our plan. So please subscribe so we can get further into world domination. But we're not anything like that. We just talk to each other, and we're real with each other just as much as we're real with the audience and real with this camera in front of us for everybody at home. We're not gonna nobody here is ever going to sugarcoat it for you, and we're not going out of our way to try to make this raunchy and shocking for the sake of just, creating shock value. Absolutely not. We want to open up what is real. It's about what's real, about what's honest with the world, not what you see on TV as honest and shit that gets fed to you over and over again. And yes, there are sides to every matter that you see in the world. We're just going to open up a conversation, and if you don't like what it is, you don't like what we're saying, feel free to turn it off. We don't care. If you would like to provide your input, we're always here. We're always going to be open. And I think that's what makes this podcast very special, is that we have three guys here who are fine with the world. We're not fine with it, but we are ready to talk about the world as it is, the state that exists in reality. And if you have something to say about it, we are all ears, and that's what this podcast is about. We love to open up the dialogue with everybody. We love the discourse. I've been using those words a lot this podcast, and for good reason, because that's what we're about. So please, if you have something to say, you can talk to us in person if you know us. Put something in the comments, send us a message, open up your own video, and put that up on the YouTube, and then tag us. I don't care. Whatever gets this world to move just a little bit into a wholesome, really like self-realized,
Going the
aware
right
direction.
direction.
There you go. Thank you very much. That's all we want to do here. Just kind of cut the bullshit out of life, and I think ultimately that leaves society and this species in a better place. Not to act like I'm playing God or anything, but I really think conversation is the way to do that, and not conversation that's either this or that. No sides, no either or. It's just conversation, and then here's what I think. What do you think? Maybe we can learn from each other. Maybe we gain from this experience together, and I think that's what's important about this podcast. So that's my 2 cents.
Yeah.
Man, I actually wrote down a bunch of notes too that to try to get to this point of the conversation, but I guess so. Now that you know what we're about, let's just introduce ourselves. Let's get this out of the way. If you guys don't want to, I'll say something for you, because that's just where we are now at this section of the show. So sorry, not really
Just
sorry.
Fair warning, you have almost a minute and a half to reset this.
So for the sake of reality, guess what we're using right now? Zoom. And Zoom finds it okay to just put 40 minutes for a free trial, which is fine. It's their product. I don't care. That's up to them. I'm not going to pay for it right now. We're a low budget podcast. In fact, we're in the negative. We're in debt right now. I'm in debt mostly. I did a lot of setting up. That's okay though. I digress. So we're going to take a quick commercial break. We have no sponsors, so I'll put something here. Maybe we'll get sued. I don't know, but we'll be right back after I restart Zoom and find a new meeting. Screw you, Zoom. I'm finding a way around it. Bye-bye. Does This Offend You is absolutely, definitely, and undoubtedly brought to you by this 100% totally real sponsor.
Popcorners, because we invested most of our money in this amazing pun. Popcorn Wow. And it's a chip made of popcorn, like that shit that your mom used to eat when she was trying to diet, but tastes a little bit better than that because it's a chip shape. It's amazing. Highly recommend.
I'm honestly surprised you decided to pull up Dr. Pepper Vanilla, whatever the hell it was that you were looking for.
Because I can't fucking find it! I went to
Oh my God.
Walmart and I looked at the price and I was like, even if I find it, I'm not paying $30. I don't want to find it here. This is not worth it. It has become.
Walmart's cheap.
I know. That's why I was so shocked that they tried to fuck me like that. Sorry, Twitch.
And YouTube.
But yeah, now my main goal is to find it at either Target or Safeway and use my Snap EBT, aka my food stamps, on it because I do not think I should spend real money on this at this point.
Jesus Christ.
I've invested way too much time and effort driving out to cities that claimed they had this product and they did not. Dr. Pepper cream soda 0.
Is that what the commercial's been about the whole time? you started with one product and you ended with another.
It's all about the money.
You just can't skip that cream filling.
Something more important came up.
At least it wasn't sexual. That's all that matters.
So, where were we? Vlad, you're in here. You good? Good.
Yep.
All right. So, just talk a little bit about myself. My name is Danny.
Where are you from?
That's it. No. Okay. Yeah,
What's your favorite color?
God damn it! See, these are the moments.
Are you circumcised?
It's weird when yes, I am circumcised.
Do you prefer the top muffin or the bottom muffin?
I'm a muffin top guy. I'm okay with it. But a whole muffin, really, ideally. So yeah,
Broccoli
I'm Danny.
or cauliflower?
Cauliflower. So my name is Danny. I'm a seasoned veteran of this planet. I don't really have to disclose how old I am unless you really care. It doesn't really matter. I'm born and raised in the Bay Area. That's where we're from. I went to San Francisco State University. I got a degree in liberal studies, which means I got a degree in absolutely fucking nothing. It's just to get out of college. I'm an avid musician. I work out a lot. And you'll see me wearing tank tops 90% of the show because they are the superior attire. That's a quick rundown of me. None of that should actually indicate whether we're qualified to be running a podcast at all, but I don't care. So I'll go give it to Vlad, and he'll tell you a little about himself. Go ahead, Vlad.
So yeah, I am a raised kid over from the Bay Area. I'm actually from the Soviet Union originally, born in Central Asia, and came from the Soviet Union / Russia to our wonderful Bay Area back in '95. I went to school here. As you can tell, I don't really have an accent anymore, but yeah, I've been around the block for quite some time, got to see how this wonderful nation of ours has evolved in the period of living in this very multicultural region of the country and seeing how crazy people have been going. I'm definitely more of an asshole. I don't like to sugarcoat things too much. I'll usually call things out as they are. Most of you will probably not like that, but that is what it is. And yeah, I'm same as Danny, have a background in music. Used to do singing for about 16 years professionally, more or less. And now I do work with legal stuff. It's a very weird turn from what I originally started with. Okay, Omid, your turn. So blow them away.
Hi. My name is Omid. I was born
Look
in
at the camera, buddy.
America.
Into the
Sorry,
camera, buddy.
I was born in America, raised in America. I'm American. I do have a little bit more melanin than the average American, but that's okay because it's America. And my favorite color is green.
All right. He's also
Is it green because you're Jewish?
Huh? No, my favorite color is green because the Green Power Ranger Tommy was my favorite. So
Oh, I feel
I
that.
figured, yeah.
wow,
feel that.
real original.
Yeah.
Tommy. That's fine.
Yeah.
He was my favorite too.
I feel
Well,
I feel like anybody who can kick all the
okay.
Power Rangers' asses is probably
By himself with his own Megazord.
right.
He
Yeah.
didn't even need all the parts. Is like already one big Megazord that could kick ass. So.
Right. It's crazy.
But then when he joined the others, he was like a weapon. I don't know. It was stupid. So whatever.
Didn't the actor like stab his roommate and go to jail or something?
Maybe.
I thought he tried to be an MMA fighter and they
That's
killed the
Billy.
guy.
Billy is the Blue
Oh, is it
Ranger.
the-
He's an
oh.
MMA fighter.
Is that who it was?
No, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure I read that the guy who played the Green Ranger like took like a katana and stabbed his roommate in his sleep.
He had Power Rangers PTSD. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Hi, my name is Omid. My favorite color is red. No, I'm kidding. I still like him. He's a good guy.
All right. Well, that's
Um,
cool. To each
Yeah,
his
sort
own,
of
yes.
play.
I
Yeah.
really have no qualifications to
Yeah.
be running a podcast.
And that brings me to the heart of this show. Thank you for putting that delicately. Yeah, none of us here are experts. We're not millionaires. We're not successful in any sort of medium
Hopefully in the future.
surrounding this. Yes, hopefully in the future. We do try. We're like, and that's really what this is about. We're like everyone out there. We have a voice in this world, and we just hope that you appreciate that. And if you don't, we appreciate the fact that you don't. And we're a bunch of normal people on this roller coaster we call life, with ideas that we think are exceptional. We're arrogant. Sometimes we'll even be hypocritical, and that makes us perfectly human. And that's what I think is a secret spice to this show. We're gonna offer you nothing but ourselves and like we talked about earlier, reality. So if you really just want to be a part of this ride with us, we'd really appreciate that. Now I'm being a little sincere and genuine. Yeah. And I think that's why, we're talking about the word deserve, quote unquote, or should we? I think this is why we should. Because I think a lot of the mediums out there, a lot of the world is just completely saturated with people who just want to perpetuate their own lifestyles, their own ideas, or they really, it's just, I hate to say it, a lot of garbage. People aren't like this. They're really loud, obnoxious, and just kind of yell into a phone camera all the time and call that art. Whatever. That's just the way I think. But here at Does This Offend You, we're just gonna talk, and it's that.
If you don't
simple.
like, you can go kick rocks.
Yeah,
Is it okay that I'm the only one here that doesn't have a background in music? Is that fine?
that's actually not. We are gonna discuss your termination on the next episode, so be ready for that. Please bring your resume.
What
I-
can you do
Yeah.
I don't
aside
know.
from being Jewish? What can you do? Well, yeah, you're probably good with money, but
Oh yeah, just another side note here, just for all you social justice warriors out there, we're a pretty freaking diverse group here. We're not gonna get into it. You might hear about it later, but
I'm
just-
white.
yeah.
I'm Asian.
Some of us are a little more upfront with it than others, but you will hear about that later. So stick around.
I'm not really white. I just want to be.
Yeah, it would make it a lot easier, right? We'd probably be
Yeah.
somewhere else right now.
Daddy
Yeah.
Sky God, make me white, please.
Yeah.
All right, so what do you guys think? Is that good for today? You think they've had enough? It's a lot to do. We actually
Not
really. Didn't
really.
talk
We've
that
only gone
much,
like half
yeah.
an hour in. Why are we
I
stopping
know.
already?
Well, because that's it. Because I mean, do you have anything else to say about
Yeah, of course. plenty.
podcasts?
Let's look at
About
other
podcasts.
Yeah,
there will be plenty
podcasts.
more to say in the
Here,
future.
let me
What
throw
about
this out
podcasts?
there.
Yeah.
The fact that we are so centrist, will that affect our success? Because everybody knows that you gotta be polarizing to get attention to gain success. How do we plan on succeeding riding the middle?
Just criticize everybody. I don't
Yeah,
know.
that's the problem that we're not gonna have on this show. We're not trying to do anything. We're just there's no ulterior motive to this. I'm not trying to be polarizing. I'm not trying to piss people off. We're not trying to piss people off. It would be great if we garnered some sort of reaction. That's awesome. That's exactly what that's about. But I mean, look at the
I'm
title
sure
of the
you'll have
show.
somebody's
Yeah.
gonna get offended just for being a freaking
Oh,
snowflake.
100%. You're going to be offended. All of you are, at one point or another, you're going to like us, and then it's going to turn in an instant. I know it's going to happen. Mark my words. It's going to happen. Vlad's already said something stupid that's making me angry. I'm not gonna talk about it. I'll just beat him up later
His
like a normal
nose,
person.
God,
I know
just
where
so
he lives.
big.
Yeah.
I just want everybody to keep in mind, just because I'm wrong doesn't mean I'm a liar.
It's true. Yeah. I mean, you will hear every sort of
What if
answer
you
on the
are a
show.
liar and you're
Yeah.
wrong?
I mean, I could still be a liar and be wrong, but
What if you're like Trump and just say random shit?
it's informed shit.
You like to think it's informed, but that's the information these days.
So let me ask you guys this next question. Okay.
Yeah, go
Since
ahead.
we're talking about podcasts, and let's stick to it. What
Okay.
makes what makes dumb podcasts good? And I'm talking about, for instance, an example, well, like for instance, vlogging, right? I think I brought this up before to you guys in the past in regards to examples, but Jake Paul, Logan Paul. I like Logan Paul. I think he's pretty funny. I don't like Jake Paul. I think he's kind of an idiot.
Okay.
But what makes them so successful in their like vlogs, and Logan Paul also has a podcast, which from what I understand is also pretty well maintained. What drives their success so well? And they've done some dumb stuff in their past. Like I remember one time Logan Paul, when he was in Japan, went ahead and accidentally recorded a guy hanging himself in the suicide forest.
Yeah.
And that got a whole lot of retribution to him, a whole lot of backlash. But moving past that point, the guy's still pretty funny in my opinion. Jake Paul, he just likes to talk a lot of shit. He really tries to be like that Conor McGregor type of character who really like pushes everyone's buttons. Whether his success and his boxing career is legitimate or not, I'm not a boxing expert. Honestly, if I had to guess, it seems like he might be paying people off to kind of throw the fights, but that's me. And again,
Sure.
I'm not an expert. I don't know.
Yeah.
What do you guys think?
So to answer your original question.
I don't know what the question was.
Yeah, you kind of.
Why are dumb podcasts successful?
Short answer, because people are stupid. Yeah. Again, I'll bring it back to that argument. The very beginning of this episode. What makes dumb podcasts successful is because dumb people like to listen to it or watch it or whatever.
I mean,
Dumb-
no, but what's
Or
the appeal behind it? Is it
adolescents.
funny?
I don't know. I don't know what makes it funny. It's hard for me to like grab a hold of it. Like I can't fathom what's funny or what's
Like
good about
Logan
it.
Paul, his vlogs
Yeah.
are funny. I've seen him like literally like damage himself and his friends, kind of like almost jackass status, but not quite there yet.
Okay, but also the fact that people don't find it funny, like the fact that we like Joe Rogan, but there are probably a lot of people who are like, that's dumb. I mean, so now it's like it's the same criteria as before. What makes a
But
dumb
he's not
podcast?
dumb.
What makes a dumb podcast dumb then? You're saying like, why do people like dumb podcasts? Then what's the real question is what makes a podcast dumb to begin with? I could sit here all day and say that's dumb. Like
I mean,
there's lots of stuff
I'll
I
put
don't
it for you
agree
this
with.
way:
Yeah.
Joe Santagato,
Yeah.
the guy I was talking about at the very beginning, he literally runs a comedy podcast where he and his friends talk about life events and stuff, and I'm sure they spice up the stories a bit, but yeah, they basically try to convey the aspect of their comedic life that they've experienced. Other thing that really drives them is like psychologically speaking, they laugh a lot, and when you hear laughter, it kind of triggers in your own brain to kind of laugh with it a bit too, or it triggers positive, I guess, reinforcement in your mind for positive chemical responses.
Doing great.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. That's what I'm kind of looking at the aspect of his comedic stances. They are kind of dumb to me. Like some of the stories, you literally sit there and you feel like your brain's slowly dying. But he laughs. He says a couple of punchlines and makes you smile and makes you laugh. It works for that, I guess. I don't know. I'm just trying
What
to kind
kept you from turning it off from the beginning?
I really liked his YouTube videos where he like did videos about like stupid things people do on the internet and stuff like that, or dumb shit people buy on eBay, sell on eBay, just stuff like that. If you actually watch his videos from back then, you'd pretty much laugh. You'd be like, what the hell? Yeah. I think it's more of a nostalgia trip for me with Santagato because I've been able to follow his career for so long, so that's what kind of keeps me more or less hooked. And that's how he built his basis from YouTube. But by making those like dumb videos of people on the internet. But that's one example. Anybody have any other examples of funny or dumb podcasts?
I'm a huge
Uh,
Flagrant 2 fan.
What's that?
No idea what
It's
that is.
the Andrew Schultz podcast with his main man, Akash
Oh.
Singh.
I
Okay.
do like
Yeah,
Andrew
both of
Schultz.
whom
Well,
are very funny individuals.
Andrew Schultz, dude, he kills it. He's just a funny guy. He doesn't mind, making those uncomfortable jokes.
No, but he's also a very well-informed comedian where when he does roast people, it doesn't come from a place of ignorance. He comes from a different angle, which is, I know your culture, let me roast you for your culture. And I really appreciate that.
Yeah. No, it's good to have some sort of actual basis for your insults. If you just kind of throw like "you're a poopy head" insults, it's not really gonna work that way.
Or
You know?
haha, you're Asian, you have tiny eyes.
Yeah,
But no, he
or
he
small
goes
something
deep.
else. But no, that's not. I mean, it's nice to have like an actual like informative argument to make as you roast them because there's a basis for that they can't really fight back against because they're like, "Fuck, he's right," you know.
So
Well,
you're
yeah.
saying articulation is what separates a dumb podcast from a good podcast?
We define
Mm.
that.
Like, I mean, someone actually is in quote unquote informed, has some sort of intelligence to
No,
their.
no, not at all.
Yeah.
I didn't connect the two at all. I'm just saying I appreciate Andrew Schultz's humor for that reason. I appreciate his podcast because he's genuinely a funny person and he's constantly in his mind trying to think of the next joke. And you can see his thought process when you're watching this podcast where he takes pretty much current events, whether it be pop culture or politics or nowadays COVID or some shit, and
Jeffrey Epstein.
exact anything, and he can make a joke out of anything because that's just the way he is. His I think he mostly became famous off of his crowd work because with crowd work you're going in and you're improvising roasting someone in your that you've never met before, and I think he is very good at coming up with something on the spot, and it is a hit. That's why he became so popular on YouTube. You can put out as much content as you want because you're always roasting somebody new, coming up with new jokes, coming up with new content. And his podcast is just an ode to that. He's always thinking of something funny, and if not, he has guests on and they just have a blast. You can tell him and his friends enjoy the conversations they have because you're sitting around laughing, making jokes. And I think it's funny. I like to laugh. That's the type of content I'm looking for. So,
I
boom.
personally think it's very impressive how he crowd works, honestly, because that guy. First off, like for comedy, you're always playing with fire when you start insulting somebody in the crowd. You never know how that person's gonna react. You never know if they're gonna get up and say like, "fuck you," or they might pull out a freaking gun and shoot you. You never know, or they might just be like super chill, like, "oh yeah, it's funny," like he's roasting me. Some people take jokes better than others, so I think it's very impressive about like how you were saying that he crowd worked and really built himself up. That's a very good point.
So all you two have done is just discuss a single podcast that you both like. But how does that distinguish what is a dumb versus a good podcast?
I think saying something is dumb versus a good podcast is very subjective. Like
It
for me, a
is.
dumb podcast is someone just sitting around and doing ASMR the entire time.
Doing what?
ASMR or whatever.
The hell is that?
When like people are like crumpling bags and you're seeing the bag get crumpled and people get off on that shit.
What the hell kind of shit
Like
do
there's
people watch?
there's literally videos on YouTube of people cooking something, but instead of focusing on the actual cooking, it's more focused on the sound of the knife hitting the cutting board as it slices through an apple or some shit. Like people just like sounds and that's their entire content. Or getting like stress balls or those like gooey Play-Doh thingies and just squeezing the crap
Have you
out of them
tried
so it makes the
farting
popping
in
noises.
the mic yet?
It
That's a
probably
thing.
exists.
That's
Oh
a
well, there you
thing.
go. Yeah, that's
That's a
So he
thing.
farts in the mic. Okay.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
And
y'all
it's-
need fucking Jesus.
It's hard to say what's dumb or not too because at the end of the day, these dumb things is content for somebody and they're successful. They keep going.
Oh, I hate throwing the subjective argument into every freaking situation. It drives a wrench into any conversation for me, but it's real. I can't find an argument because you're right. Because no matter how much like I'll say this is the third time I'll say it probably the last time. Yeah, there's a criteria for me between something that's good and actually like fun to listen to or intelligent, and there's dumb shit. And I think there's a lot of dumb shit out there, more than there is anything else. And like one day I will find a good argument to separate the criteria. But all I can offer now is you're right. It's all subjective. Like there's nothing that says what I like is any better than what someone like ASMR farting into a microphone. Hey, if that's your bag, man, go for it. I don't care. But it's like, to me, it's like, there's something you could do with your
But
time
it's
that's
dumb.
not.
It's dumb.
But yeah, it's like there's something else you can do with their time that like
mean,
it gives something
here's
to the world. It leaves something. I don't know. It's like
here's dumb
something more you can
content.
offer. I don't know.
Copying somebody else's mold, I think, is dumb
Oh
content.
What do you mean
God,
mold?
don't get me started as a musician, dude. You know,
As in,
oh my
like,
God, originality's
basically,
dead.
let's say there's already somebody that, cut up an apple for their ASMR video, and then some other person does the exact same thing. I mean, that's
Maybe
one
they
of my
do it
biggest
better.
pet peeves in life. People that repeat jokes over and over again until they beat them to death. I hate people that put out content that isn't even original. Like, sure, make
Mhm.
your weird noises online, but at least come up with an original noise. Don't do the exact same thing someone else did.
Yeah, try masturbating for once.
Originality's dead in this day and age. In fact,
It's not even.
especially
It's not that it's dead. It's just hard to come by now.
it's for lack of a better term dead, because there are a lot of people out there, for instance these gentlemen right here, who are trying their best to be original and who are original by nature. But there's a lot of people out there who are like, they'll find the easy road to success and they'll just like rip off. It's just a continual train of ripping people off and then posting that and doing whatever, and it
But
creates.
what if
it's
you
just,
take something that's already being done and do it better?
I mean, it's still not original, but also it's just another step in that on that ladder. Like, someone does it the best, sure, but there's still gonna be a lot of like other like spin-off artists or who are
But
gonna
how can
take
you
what
be
you
original
do.
with like for podcasts? How can you be original with that? You really can't. It's
You
just
can,
more or less of like your personality. If you can really like
yeah.
take yourself across the table better
The,
than
the
the other
idea
guy.
for a podcast isn't original, of course, but like, can you do it better? Yeah. To answer your question, yeah, there are things that you can do better, but that's not going to stop a bunch of people from trying to like duplicate what you're doing, and it's going to happen a million times, literally a million times on whatever you're doing, and people are just trying to find that and what's that old phrase, like great artists or like good artists create and then the great artists steal, or something like that, to that degree. And it's very true. It still holds to this day, and it's not like, not that I agree with it, but that's just a lot of what's out there in the world today, not just podcasts. I mean, it's just,
I mean, you can technically argue that originality can be twisted, can be spun in the aspect of you take something that's already being done, you do it in a better manner, and now you're doing it in an original manner over the other guy.
what, like Pepsi tweak Coke or whatever, or Coke tweak Pepsi.
Okay, I'm not talking about that specifically. But
Like,
you can,
that's so like what? So what are you trying to say? Like
you
people
can say like we had MySpace. MySpace was cool, was super popular. Everybody was all on that
Yeah.
bitch, and then fucking Facebook came over and just basically just did the same thing but better.
Have you guys seen the movie The Prestige?
Yes.
Oh yeah, that's
It
actually pretty
reminds me
good.
of that one scene where they're watching the magic show and he's just like, "Oh, I can do that trick, but with a lot more pizzazz." And so he does it and he becomes more popular because he does literally the exact same magic trick, the exact same illusion,
But it is
Mhm.
better.
but he made it flashier. Yeah.
But
But see, that's different because that's actually adding showmanship to something. But let's say somebody did the exact same thing with the exact same script. Then it's like, I've seen this before. It's like saying a joke that everyone's already heard before, so they're already anticipating the punchline. What's the point of that?
I mean, it's the same thing for me with like, for instance, you guys know I like to make hookah for people, and there's hookah lounges all over the world. I know a bunch of people who make hookah and all this stuff, and everybody thinks they're the fucking best, and I'm like, cool story, bro. But like with me, I started experimenting with hookah when I was like 16. So, and I'm 30 years old now. So I've been doing it for over 15 years at this point, and I've done,
That's
God,
literally 14 years. That's literally by math 14
sorry,
years.
14 years. Sorry, my
I've
point.
been over 15, bro. You
My
didn't
bad.
even make it to
My bad.
15 yet.
No, but I'm saying is that sorry, I'm essentially gonna be 31 this year. That's why I'm like thinking about it as in over 15 years. But what's it called? Yeah, no. What I'm saying is that everyone and their mother, especially like with the Russian community here, who in the Middle Eastern community here in the Bay Area, they all say like I'm the best hookah maker, this and that, and I'm like, cool story. For me personally, I've done experiments with hookah in all sorts of situations. I've used hot water hookah, which is one of the most is one of the best ways to get thick smoke, like pure white smoke, as an example. or I've used honey in the tobacco when I make it, and I use specific types of honey for specific reasoning to make it not burn quite as well. Regular honey doesn't work, unfortunately. Uh, and yeah, like I've learned to make like one bowl of tobacco can last you 2 to 4 hours if you make it just right. But yeah, everybody tends to be like, yeah, I make the best hookah, and hookah lounges are everywhere. But let's say if I come around and I'm doing the same thing essentially everybody else is doing, but I'm doing it just a little bit different because of a technique that I've learned over my years, and the hookah result is better, everybody, their job drops, and they're gonna go straight for the top quality tier right there. So I mean, I don't know. Like I said, you can do the same thing as somebody else and just slightly change the formula and still be considered original because I can say, yeah, I use honey in my hookah making and other people don't. It's essentially the same thing, but it's still different.
Oh my God, that's what we were talking about, right?
Yeah,
I thought we were
Jesus
just
Christ.
plugging Vlad.
Oh my God.
Oh my god.
Oh, it's dude, way to just fucking shoehorn in bullshit. Like, okay, so once Vlad
So
is
Vlad's
done,
sponsoring us, right?
yeah, so
Yes.
Vlad's done jerking himself off. Thank you.
Are we getting a
Um,
paycheck?
Yeah.
You'll get
Did
a
we get
penny
something for
for
that?
every hour that you worked.
We're somehow responsible for what you just did. So we expect payment.
No, the
So
point being is that, again, I'm just reiterating the fact that you can do things differently. I mean, you can do the same thing as everybody else, but do it slightly different. But it's going to be original.
you can do something better. Obviously, it doesn't have to be original, but like
No,
number
it is
one,
original. That's the point.
making something better isn't original. You didn't invent hookah.
If you change the difference of how you make the hookah, that's the difference.
So, but without giving credit to someone
There
else,
are
who makes the
actual
hookah.
taste testers at like Cheetos factory or whatever that whenever Cheetos or whatever cereal wants to make a new flavor of anything, these people actually have to evaluate the amount of units of difference this is from an already existing product for them to consider original.
Yeah, booyah.
No, booyah. You're not done, dude. That you didn't. I win the argument. Fuck you. No, the fact of the matter is you're not. It's original in your market. I think that's what's important. You go around to like different hookah lounges in the Bay Area and like I'm Vlad, the king of the hookah or whatever. Like I don't
I
care
am.
about it. Good for you, congratulations. But there's someone probably like 5 miles from here who's probably doing the exact same thing to people he knows, and he's the king of hookah. I think what originality means in this day and age is that you're able to open it up to a bunch of people who haven't seen it before, and that makes you original.
Well, no, I base
Which
my
is also
I
kinda
base all
bullshit.
my stuff on experience. Like I cater to the people who are constantly at hookah lounges or who come from the Middle East where hookah is super prominent.
Okay, but you understand if you went like to a different town and nobody knew who you are, and there's a guy who's doing it quote unquote better, their idea.
I mean,
of
nobody
it's
really
like,
seems to be doing what I'm doing. That's the whole problem.
Yeah,
At least not
because
from what I've been
you've
able to
only
see.
been around here. Do you look around anywhere else in the world?
Yeah,
Like that's
Texas,
the problem.
New York, Georgia.
So you've been to all those towns and all those cities and been to their hookah lounges.
not to every single one, no. but I've
That's
been
what
to a
I'm
couple.
saying. So there's probably people that don't know who you are that probably have their favorite hookah maker or whatever. Or
Oh, I'm sure they do, but then I can
Hookah chef? What do you call yourself? What do you call?
Sure.
What do you call it? Hookah baker? I don't know.
Maker.
Hookah smoker. Hookah maker. Hookah. Throwing the word hookah in front of things makes it more fun. Hookah.
We'll just say hookah head.
Hookah head. Yeah. Whoever the
Yeah,
favorite
okay.
hookah head is. Okay.
Anyway,
So
the
I
point
think
is
the
that
point
as soon
of
as I
yeah.
walk in and I show my skills, it goes like, bam.
I don't care about that though. I don't care
So
what
do
you do in your
walk
free time.
in
I don't
with
ca-
your
like,
bottle of
Yeah.
honey, like your special honey, just walk in with it and be like, trust me.
Yeah,
That's
pretty
not
much.
the point then. So originality isn't the fact that I'm Vlad and I do this way. You know, someone else could be doing it the same way on the other side of the planet. Does that make you original?
I mean, if it's happening, I want to see it. I try to follow the form.
But you probably won't. But so in your world, amongst your peers, that's what makes it original. It's all about the market. I think that's the key to it. Does that make sense?
Maybe.
Good, thank you. What did you say earlier? Boom. Whatever.
Booyah.
And booyah, end of the argument. Okay, good.
Booyah.
And that's what we're about here. We're never gonna ever agree on something. Like at least once per episode, you're gonna hear us quarrel with each other like this, which is great. And we invite you to quarrel with us too, because I can't sit through another Vlad jerking like that ever
Maybe
again.
you can.
No, I
Don't let
can't. I
yourself-
cannot. You fucking masturbator.
Too bad
I'm
it's
not
on
doing
camera
it.
and you have to watch it
Yeah.
and edit it.
No,
Yeah,
I
exactly.
have
Have to
to-
worry, watch it later.
sit
So
through
get
that.
over it.
I have to see through that. And since we're recording in the middle of the day, the light keeps changing, and I keep having to do this and this. So I hope you're happy. All right,
That
are we
sounds like a
satisfied,
personal
gentlemen?
problem.
I think we had a lot of good things to talk about today.
How long did we record for?
It's been an hour and 12 minutes by my count, minus the half hour it took you to get in here.
Minus the half an hour. Okay. What do you think, Omid?
I'm fine with whatever. I'm hungry.
Yeah, the poor guy needs to eat. He's been busy today, so
My chip clip is being used to illuminate my face right now.
the man is distraught. Please get him a bag of chips. Frito-Lay, if you're listening, please send us some chips for the man.
Edibles.
Okay, good.
Or whoever this company is. Popcorners. It's funny because it's popcorn with ers at the end. Ers. It's a
So,
pun.
God damn it. Okay. This has been the very first Does This Offend You podcast.
Clusterfuck.
The Clusterfuck episode, aka the Clusterfuck episode. We talked about podcasts, we talked about originality, and we talked about ourselves and why you should listen to us. And I really hope you took that to heart. And if you didn't, that's fine. Fuck you, fuck me, fuck everything. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe, like, share with all your friends. Please get involved in the conversation. We look forward to doing this again next week, where we talk about Cheetos. But actually, it's Dr. Pepper when you open up the bag because Omid invented the product. Thank you for following up.
Please help Omid find his soda.
Yeah, please help the poor guy find his soda. Dr. Pepper, if you're listening, give us the good stuff. All right, thank you very much. This has been this has been the first episode of Does This Offend You? I'm Danny. That is Vlad. That is Omid. See you next week.
offend.